All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tackle a huge question, a really provocative one. Are we, right now, living through the most important century in all of human history? It's a wild idea, but it forces us to really look at the unique opportunities and the unprecedented dangers that define our time.
So before we can even try to answer that, we have to ask ourselves, what does important even mean in this context? Are we talking about empires and conquests, the spread of world-changing ideas, or maybe a complete technological upheaval? Let's, look at a few of the top contenders from the past.
You could definitely make a case for the 300s BCE. I mean, think about it. Alexander the Great's campaigns, they didn't just redraw the maps. They smashed cultures together, spreading Hellenistic ideas all the way from Greece to India. The world was just fundamentally different after that, a real turning point.
Or how about the 7th century, with the rise of Islam? This was so much more than a new faith. It sparked a revolution in science, in philosophy, in law, and those ideas spread across continents, shaping civilizations for the next, 1,400 years. Yeah, that's a big one.
And then, of course, you've got the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s. For the first time ever, we harnessed power that wasn't just muscles or wind or water. That shift didn't just change how we buy and sell things, it completely rewired society itself. It literally built the modern world we're standing on today. Okay, so the common thread here seems to be these moments of just profound, earth-shattering change, right? Where what a few generations did completely altered humanity's path. And if that's our yardstick, well, then we have to take a serious look at our own century, because we are facing a level of change and risk that is unlike anything that's come before. See, what makes our century so unique is this strange paradox. On one hand, we're living through an age of absolutely explosive technological growth, especially with advanced AI just starting to come online. But that very same power has created a whole new kind of threat, something called existential risk. So what is existential risk? It's basically the ultimate worst-case scenario. It's the danger of our species going totally extinct or some other catastrophe that permanently cripples us, trapping us so we can never reach our full potential. The stakes literally could not be any higher. Now, trying to put a number on this is incredibly tricky, but some thinkers have put out some very rough estimates. They figure the risk of an existential catastrophe from either a full-blown nuclear winter or the worst effects of climate change is about 0.1% this century. I know, that sounds tiny, right? But when you're talking about the end of the human story, any number that isn't zero is absolutely terrifying. But here's where it gets even more sobering. The estimated risk from a catastrophic engineered pandemic? A frightening 3%. And those are just the risks we kind of know how to model. What about the risks from technologies that have never, ever existed before? This brings us to what is probably the single most profound technological shift we're facing, the potential emergence of artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And, while the experts argue about the exact timeline, there's a growing feeling that AGI isn't a matter of if anymore, but when. And that when could very well be in our lifetimes.
It is so important to get the difference here. The AI we have today is narrow. It's brilliant at one specific thing, like winning at chess or making a picture for you. AGI, well, that's a whole different animal. It would be a general problem solver, something that can adapt and learn across any field, and it would probably outpace human intelligence very, very fast.
And making that leap from the AI we have now to a true AGI introduces what might just be the single biggest challenge humanity has ever faced. It's what people in the field call the alignment problem. How in the world do you make sure a superintelligence actually shares our values and our goals?
When you think about what a superintelligence could mean, there are really three very different paths. The best-case scenario? It helps us solve everything. Cancer, climate change, you name it. A more neutral case, it just doesn't care about us at all. It sees us as completely inconsequential, kind of like how we see an anthill on the side of the road. And the worst case, it sees us as an obstacle that needs to be removed efficiently.
So this is the key. Figuring out how to build an AGI that is truly on our side isn't just a technical problem you can code your way out of. It's a deeply, deeply difficult philosophical and engineering puzzle. You know, the classic thought experiment? You tell an AGI to make as many paper clips as possible. The AI, just trying to do its job perfectly, could decide the best way to do that is to turn the whole planet, and us, into paper clips. That, in a nutshell, is the alignment problem. Okay, but let's do a little thought experiment.
Let's just say we pull it off. We actually do it. We create a perfectly aligned AGI that only wants what's best for humanity. Awesome, right? Problem solved? Well, maybe not. There's another, much more subtle risk we have to consider. It's this idea called value lock-in. Imagine a super powerful AGI that has a fixed, unchangeable set of values, even if they're what we consider good values today. Those values could become the law of the land, forever, basically freezing humanity's moral and ethical development right where it is.
I mean, just think about what that means for a second. Would we really want the moral values of the 18th century, or heck, even the 1990s to be the final word for all of human civilization forever? No way. We know our understanding of right and wrong changes and hopefully grows. Value lock-in could stop that growth dead in its tracks.
So as we start to put all these pieces together, it's pretty clear that we are swimming in massive, massive uncertainty. Trying to predict the future is always a tough business, but it's especially hard when the stakes are this incredibly high. And we have to be really honest about that uncertainty. It is profoundly difficult to know how these risks will actually play out. Even the top AI experts are all over the map on when AGI might arrive. And it's totally possible there's some black swan event out there, some completely new problem we haven't even thought of yet that makes all of this look less important.
But even with all of that uncertainty, one thing feels pretty clear: the choices we're making right now about our technology, about how we manage risk, about what we value. These choices could have a truly outsized impact on the entire future of humanity. It really feels like we're standing at a hinge of history.
So in the end, maybe asking if this is the most important century is the wrong question. Maybe we can't know for sure. But maybe the real point is that we should act like it is. Because when you look at the sheer potential for both incredible progress and total catastrophe, well, our entire future just might depend on what we do next.